Today, I'll be giving you an honest review on the Google Pixel 7 Pro camera from a photographer and videographer straight to you. Now, I'm not going to show you any fancy B-roll of the phone itself or anything like that. Instead, I've devoted my time into actually using the camera on this device to give it some real-world tests. You may wonder why you don't see it in front of me, and that's because I'm actually using it right now to record this entire video. So if you're curious about what the video looks like, keep watching and you'll see plenty of it. Boom! This is my logo, I guess. What's the deal, everybody? Welcome back to the studio. Jeremy Deal here, and today, like I said, we're diving deep into the camera on this Google 7 Pro. Let me start off by saying that everything you see in this video will be straight out of the phone. I will be doing no post-production. I will not be cleaning up the images, whether that be photo or video. The only thing you may see is crops and zooms so I can showcase certain features. And the very first thing we're going to talk about, since this channel is devoted mainly to real estate, is the real estate aspects of this phone. Now, that being said, let's move straight on to photos for real estate with this camera, since that's what most people have curiosities about. And let me say that when using the wide angle mode, I was pleasantly surprised by how well not only the photos look, they are very wide. It seems like they're about 15 mil, if I had to guess, maybe a 14 mil, somewhere around there if you had to transfer it over to a traditional film size. And the color rendition is really good. I'm very surprised at how well it does render colors. So if you're an agent wondering if you can use this to get by, then maybe. If you're a professional photographer, I would say, once again, maybe. I mean, you use what you have, and if this is what you have, you can use it. But it does have a few downfalls, like number one, the fact that it does not have any sort of rotating screen makes actually taking these images difficult, because you have to be low at a weird angle to match the same angle you would usually be at. And number two, there's no way to link strobes or flashes or anything like that to this, so you'll be missing any of that fill that you could give in. Now, you could come in with a video light or something like that to add more light to the scene, but now you're talking about overkill, especially if you're trying to simplify by just using a phone for your photos. So do I think this keeps up or replicates what we do professionally? Not at all. But is it something that can be used in a pinch and a hurry? Definitely. Now we'll move on to the video aspects of this with real estate. Now, I haven't really gotten many chances to try it for video in real estate because I just sold my previous gimbal, 4 cameras or 4 cell phones, because I was never using it. And of course, now I have the opportunity to test one and I don't have one. So that being said, I haven't gotten many chances to test it, but it does have the same flaws that taking photos has. The fact that you have to physically be down and very low using the camera, trying to keep it on a steady gimbal axis is very annoying if you don't have a gimbal for the phone itself. So that being said, the video quality is quite nice, and I'll throw up throughout this whole time. Here's some townhouse shots that I did and stuff like that. Once again, the color rendition is very well. The way it handles highlights and darks is really well. I'm overall pleasantly surprised. Could you use this for a completely professional video? I will say maybe. This would be easier to pull off in a professional setting for video over the photos because of the reasons I mentioned before. I think this is a much better, intricate, detailed phone shot, so you could use this really for social media in particular. I can see this phone coming in handy really well for social media shots for agents and dealing with that. So for that, I would say yes. Now we can move on to another thing that the phone introduced that I was very happy with, but I am now not happy at all with, and that is the cinematic feature for video in particular. Slows down to 24 frames a second and adds a cinematic blur. Well, this is actually the second time I filmed this video, because the first time I filmed this video, I did it all with cinematic mode on because I'm in the studio. It's a little dark on the playback. I didn't really notice, but here's some footage to see what this cinematic blur actually looks like when you're trying to use it. Now, here's a scenario where I was using it on me right here, and you can just tell it is atrocious and not usable for anything. You can also tell by this video I did of some fine detailed fern in front of my house, because I was seeing how it would work with detailed blurring, and you can see it does not work at all. Huge gaps in between these leaves of the fern where you can tell this is obviously some sort of aftermarket blur that's not doing a very good job. So I definitely would not recommend the cinematic blur mode, but as you can see from this video, once again being filmed on the 7 Pro completely, this is what it looks like straight out of camera. So if you think this is an acceptable product, then there you go, you have your answer. Could you use this as a main cam? Maybe, probably. Are you just vlogging? Do you just need to get something out there? Then definitely you could use it. Could you use it as a B cam? I could definitely see using this as a B cam. Maybe set it right over there with my Sony right here so I can throw in some extra shots. You tell me, you interested in seeing that? Like, subscribe, all that jazz. Maybe join the membership program. This is not sponsored by MPB, but I'm trying to get up with them. So below you will see a link for MPB, and please click on that link to show them that I am worthy. I want to join up with them so they will help me in acclimating, that's not the right word. They will help me in acquiring gear so I can do more head-to-head comparisons. So any way you can help me would be great, and the way you can do that is simply click the link down below. If you want to go the extra step, add something to your cart. If you want to go the super extra step, you can buy something. Heck yeah, I won't be mad at that. But just clicking the link down below will really help me in this process, and in the long run, really help this channel, I do believe. Now, back to the phone itself, let's move into the night camera mode. This one actually works better than the 3A and the 6 in my opinion. The night mode works really well. The only thing that's wrong with it is that it does kind of have a blue kind of tint or hue to everything. So I have to pull up the editor and pull back on the blues into yellows to make it look more appropriate. Now, the next thing we'll move on to is the actual photos itself, in particular of people, because I use it quite often. That's what most people use their phone for. And I find it to be really pleasing with people. The skin tones in particular are really, really nice on this phone compared to the iPhone 13 or the Google Pixel 3a or the 6 standard, all of those which were being used by me previously. The skin tones and the rendition, my only downfall with this camera, and you can't notice it as much on people, is that it's very contrasty. The algorithm that they have built into the camera adds a lot of dark in the darks and very much contrast. Once again, for people, it's not as noticeable, but where you can really notice it is when you're taking photos of your dog. And this is where I actually use my camera the most because I love my dog, obviously. She is great. So I use it all the time to photo and video her, but I've noticed the contrast is extremely high on fur, and it kind of like, I don't know, it makes pictures of dogs not look the greatest. I really don't like that one feature, so I have to bring that into the editor and once again decrease the blacks and or contrast to give it a more pleasing to the eye image, at least for me personally. That's how I feel about all this. You don't have to feel this way. This is my opinion. Very last thing we're going to last thing we're going to talk about is the new action mode, the pan mode, right? So I have not successfully been able to get a single usable shot from the action mode. The time lapse I haven't tried out yet. Next time I go to a waterfall or anywhere with running water, I'll try that out, but I haven't made it there yet. So there you go. There's an honest review from a photographer slash videographer about the Pixel and its ability to be used in a professional setting, whether that be photo or video, and the scenarios in which they're applicable. If you want to check out the style of videos I produce for my real estate agents, you can check that out right over there. And if you're just interested in the last thing I uploaded, you can check that out over there. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. Keep rocking and rolling. Enjoy what you're doing. Make smart business decisions, and I'll catch you next time.